In the last video, we discussed what you need to create a series of mixed media minis. I also showed you how to mix a more lively white and how I create collage paper from leftover paint. In this video, we will start laying down the first layer of collage papers. If you haven't yet, choose a few pieces of collage paper in the color scheme you want to use for this series. You will need some kind of glue to glue your papers to the background. I'm using a fluid acrylic gloss medium. Any acrylic medium or PVA glue will work. Remember to use a gel medium if you use thicker, heavier paper. I start by tearing the paper into smaller pieces and I lay them on the backgrounds. I use a mixture of translucent and opaque papers. I make use of scrapbook paper, tissue paper and old book pages. You can use any paper that you have in the house, even magazine pages. I will use the same papers on each of the backgrounds. As I lay them down, I realize that some of the pieces are still too big, so I will have to tear them into smaller pieces. Once I've torn my papers and laid them down on the backgrounds, I will see if I have enough or if I will need more. When I am happy with what I have, I take the papers off the boards and I put each pile aside. I add glue to all the backgrounds and I spread it out with my paint shaper. If the glue is already on the substrate, it is easier to put the paper down where it should be. If I then see that I need more glue for some papers, I can add more glue as I need it. I can use this technique because I'm working with small substrates. When you use a big substrate, you will need to glue the papers as you work to prevent the glue from drying before you are done. While the glue is still wet, it will be sticky enough to keep the papers where I put them down, but wet enough to remove them if I'm not happy with the placement. For now, I'm not going to worry too much about composition. I am going to keep it in mind though, as I work, but when I do the final layers, I will concentrate more on it. As I start to lay the papers down on the backgrounds, I use the same papers on each of the substrates, but you will see I don't place them on exactly the same place on each background. I add more glue where needed under each piece of paper once I'm sure of where I want them to be. I also add a thin layer of glue over each piece to make sure they will stick to the substrate without any corners lifting. Because the tissue paper is translucent, I can lay it partially over the other papers and still have the paper below show through. This is especially helpful if you don't want the torn edges of the thicker paper to show. Remember, you do not have to copy exactly what I do. This is your art, and it's important that you do what you like. I'm just showing you the steps I use in mixed media projects that works for me. You also don't have to do these steps in exactly the same order as I do it. I could have left the tissue paper to last because it's translucent, but in this project I decided to use it together with the more opaque papers, overlapping each other. Someone asked me in my Painting with Paper series if I never use opaque papers. In that series, it was all about using transparent and translucent papers. Therefore, I didn't use opaque papers at that stage. You can, however, even when working that way, still use opaque papers as well. In that case, I will use the opaque paper in the bottom layer and use the transparent papers and the translucent ones in subsequent layers. I prefer doing it that way, but it's a personal choice. Like painting with paper, this type of mixed media art is also very healing. It works on the same principle. You just use slightly different techniques. You can see now what I said before about using the same papers on each background, but do not put them in exactly the same order. in the same spot. This makes for a cohesive series of paintings that can be used on their own or together as a series without having them all looking exactly the same way. You can use more or less papers on each substrate than I am using. It's always good to leave some quiet spaces. I will cover some of the areas that's too busy with paint in the next layers, so even if it gets too busy, I will create quieter areas later on. The nice thing of mixed media is that you can cover areas you're not happy with later with paint or paper. Just like the healing layers in the Painting with Paper series, we will also work in layers, but our process will be different. You will see that I turned some of the backgrounds around. It is easier to work on them that way, but it can also give you a bit of a different perspective on what you are doing. It's a good idea, especially when working on bigger projects, to often turn your substrate around. After laying down the papers, there are a few areas which I feel need something else. I look at a few papers I like, but the first is not quite what I have in mind. The next one with the leaves is too green. The one with the little white flowers on the pink background has the same pink as the little flowers already added. I'm now starting to think about composition. I add 2 of the same pieces of paper on one board for balance. One at the top and one on the bottom, or one on the side, one on the other side. Do what feels right for you. It's good to follow basic composition rules, but remember they are just guidelines. You still have artistic freedom. Do not stress out about the rules. Relax and enjoy the process. I have a quick look at what I've done so far. I realized I did not use the dotted blue paper on all the backgrounds. I missed it because it looks so much like the tissue paper that I used. I don't have to use all the papers on every background, but I decided to use it on some of the open areas. As I laid down a piece of paper, I saw it's not working as well on that area, so I pulled it off and moved it to another spot. I did that a few other times as well. Remember that you can always fix mistakes later by adding another piece of paper or paint over it. We are still going to add a few more layers, so mistakes that you make at this stage most probably won't even be visible at the end. Even if they are, in most cases you will be the only one who would know that it was a mistake. You had something in mind while you were busy. You think it should look a certain way. But the truth is, it's only you knowing that. Don't let anyone, not even your own mind, tell you what you did is wrong or that you shouldn't have done it that way, because you are the one working on it. You are the artist, and you are the only one who knows what you initially thought your painting should look like. Not everyone will see your process, but everyone watching this video will see mine. When you know someone is watching what you're doing, it makes you feel self-conscious, because you know that they can see all the mistakes that you made along the way. Before I finish this step, I add more papers where I feel it's needed. I do not want to fill all the open areas, but I do want it to look balanced. I somehow always end up using my fingers, no matter how hard I try not to do it. It's just easier for me than holding a brush or another utensil. I add a few final pieces of paper and then I'm done for now. I will see you again when we get to do the next layer, once all of this is dry. In the next video, we will add paint to our project. Thanks for spending your precious time with me today. If you would be so kind, please leave me a comment and tell me what you think about mixed media art. Please like this video and make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell if you haven't done so yet, so that you don't miss out on any future videos in this series. See you next time. Goodbye.